listen closely. Because what I am about to tell you is not for the distracted, not for the doubters, not for the ones who treat their destiny like a game. This is for you. Yes, you, the one who feels that invisible pull in your spirit right now, the one who knows that life has been whispering something to you in the quiet hours of the night. You are here because your time has come. The money you seek is closer than you think. The flow of abundance has been circling around you, pressing at the gates of your reality, waiting for a single opening, one sentence, spoken with power, to unlock it all. But first, you must understand this truth. It is not money you chase. It is not coins and bills, not numbers on a glowing screen. What you are truly calling forth is recognition of your own divine authority. For money is not a master. It is a servant. It bends to the will of the one who knows who they are. And let me tell you something many have forgotten. You are not small. You are not broken. You are not destined to beg the universe for scraps. You are the living breath of infinite supply, clothed in human form, pretending to be limited. That is why so many of your past prayers have felt unanswered, because they were whispered from a place of lack. But when you speak from identity, from power, from knowing, the universe does not hesitate. It rearranges itself instantly, bending time, collapsing obstacles, moving money into your hands as if it had always belonged to you. Now hear me. In the next few moments, I will reveal to you one sentence, just one, that carries the vibration of wealth itself. But before you speak it, your inner soil must be ready, because words are not magic tricks. They are seeds, and seeds require ground that believes they can grow. So ask yourself, have you been speaking against your own destiny? Have you been saying, it's hard, it's impossible, it's too late, it never works for me? Every time you said those words, you signed a contract with lack. But tonight, you tear that contract apart. You reclaim your authority. Imagine yourself standing at the doorway of a great vault. The vault is yours. Your name has always been written upon it. But the lock opens not with keys of metal, but with words of command. And the moment you speak this sentence, the lock will dissolve, and the treasure will roll forth. Listen. You have been taught to believe that wealth comes slowly, that money requires years of toil, that abundance is for the chosen few. But that is not divine law. That is human tradition, passed down by those who forgot the truth. The truth is this: money is energy, and energy is obedient to authority. Your authority. When you rise up in spirit and declare with certainty, creation listens. When you stop begging and begin commanding, money moves in your direction with speed you once thought impossible. And yes, within 24 hours, you can see the evidence. Not because time has changed, but because you have changed. Because you finally spoke as the master, not the servant. So here is what I want you to do: breathe deeply. Feel your chest expand, as though the very breath of God is filling you with life. Exhale every shadow of fear, every whisper of doubt, every trace of poverty that has ever clung to your name, and prepare yourself. For in the next moment, I will place in your hand the sentence that cracks the vault wide open. The words that make money race toward you, seeking you, bowing to you, entering your life from channels you could not have imagined. Do you feel it? The quickening in your spirit, the trembling of possibility pressing against the walls of your mind. That is not imagination. That is confirmation. That is your higher self saying, yes, this is for you. Do not look away. Do not doubt. Receive it. Stay with me, because the sentence is coming. And when it does, you will never be the same. Money is not chased. It is commanded through identity. This is where the veil begins to lift from your understanding. For too long you may have thought of money as something outside yourself, a distant mountain you had to climb, a wild animal you had to run after with wary legs. But money is not a fugitive, it is not running from you. It is an obedient servant, waiting for the sound of your voice, waiting for you to remember who you are. When you chase, you affirm that it is separate from you. When you command, you declare that it belongs to you by divine right. The chase is born from fear, the command is born from identity. And until you step into the knowing of who you are, money will appear like smoke in your hands. Always there, always slipping through your grasp. Think of the way a king sits on his throne. Does he chase his subjects? Does he run through the streets demanding their attention? No, he knows that his presence alone commands respect. His word carries weight because his identity is established. This is how you must see yourself in relation to money. You are not its pursuer, you are its ruler. Not ruler in the sense of greed or domination, but ruler in the sense of alignment, authority, and natural order. When the sun rises, it does not chase the flowers. It simply shines, and the flowers turn toward it. This is the truth of your identity with money. You shine in authority, and money turns toward you. When you say, "I must chase money," you place yourself beneath it. You make yourself the servant, and in doing so, you forfeit the authority you already hold. But when you realize, "I am the one money seeks," everything shifts. Identity is not a costume you put on for a moment. Identity is the core vibration of your being. If deep within you, you believe you are unworthy, no declaration will last. But when you awaken to the truth that you are the child of infinite supply, the expression of divine abundance clothed in flesh, then your words become law. Money does not respond to desperation, it responds to recognition. It responds to the vibration of one who knows. The river does not flow uphill to beg for the mountain's permission. It flows naturally, because that is its design. Your design is wealth. Your essence is overflow. But society has trained you to forget. It has told you stories of struggle, songs of scarcity, patterns of poverty passed from generation to generation, until you believed them. These stories blinded you to your identity. They taught you to bow before money, to worship it, to fear it, to chase it. But money was never meant to be worship. It was meant to be commanded by one who stands in their divine authority. Command does not mean arrogance. Command means alignment. It means speaking from a place of certainty, the way the ocean does not ask permission to roar. It simply roars. The way the moon does not beg to rise, it simply rises. The way the earth does not chase the seed to grow, it simply provides. That is what identity looks like when it comes to wealth. And once you know this, money is no longer a stranger, no longer an enemy, no longer a dream slipping away. It becomes a faithful companion, moving toward you, circling you, responding to you, as if magnetized by your very breath. When you chase, you affirm that you do not already have, and when you affirm lack, you multiply lack. But when you command, you affirm possession. You affirm that what you desire is already yours. And this is the mystery identity, always precedes manifestation. What you believe about yourself becomes the law of your life. If you see yourself as the struggler, money will continue to play the part of the escape artist. But if you see yourself as the master, money will play the role of the obedient servant. The script changes the moment you change the role you accept for yourself. It is not about hustling harder, running faster, begging longer. It is about remembering your throne. Remembering that you are not meant to chase, you are meant to receive. Receiving is not passive, it is active faith. It is standing with open hands not in need, but in certainty. It is the vibration that says, "I already am, therefore it already is." That vibration carries a magnetic field. It speaks louder than words, louder than effort, louder than struggle. It pulls money from every direction, through channels you could not calculate, through doors you did not even know existed. Money recognizes identity. Like a soldier recognizes the voice of his commander. Like a child recognizes the voice of its mother, money knows the vibration of one who is its master. This is why people who appear to do less sometimes receive more, because they have not forgotten who they are. Meanwhile, others run, push, sweat, toil, yet remain empty, because they still believe they are the chaser. Your work is not to chase. Your work is to remember. Remember and declare. Declare from the place of identity, not from the place of lack. Speak as the one who already holds, not as the one who hopes someday to have. The shift is subtle, but it is everything. It is the moment a beggar becomes a king. The same lips, the same voice, but a different identity. One pleads, the other commands. One waits, the other receives. And as you step into this knowing, as you breathe it into your bones, as you let the truth of your identity rise in you like fire, you will feel the chase end and the command begin. Lack-based words sign contracts with scarcity. Wealth-based words sign contracts with abundance. Every word you speak is not a mere sound vanishing into the air. It is a covenant. It is an agreement written in the unseen, stamped with the seal of your belief, and sent forth as an instruction to the universe. Words carry the weight of law. They do not fade. They create. When you declare lack, when you say, "I can't afford this," money never comes to me. It's always a struggle. You are not simply venting your feelings. You are signing your name to a contract of scarcity, binding yourself to a reality where those very conditions must manifest. The universe, impartial and obedient, enforces the agreement you spoke into existence. Every time you say, "It's too expensive," you chain yourself to limitation. Every time you whisper, "I never have enough," you set in motion a decree that echoes back as truth. And the universe, hearing the vibration of your words, rearranges itself to prove you right. Words do not only describe your reality, they prescribe it. They dictate the quality of your experience. To speak of lack is to authorize lack to govern your life. To speak of wealth is to authorize abundance to flow freely. You cannot escape the consequences of your language, because your language is the architecture of your reality. Think of it like this: words are seeds. Every sentence you release falls into the soil of your life. Some soil is rich, some is hardened by doubt, but still the seed carries within it a destiny. When you plant seeds of lack, scarcity will bloom. When you plant seeds of wealth, abundance will rise. The harvest always matches the seed, and the seed is always your word. If you wonder why cycles repeat, why lack seems to shadow your every step, look first to your speech, for your tongue is the pen writing the story of your finances. Scarcity contracts are subtle, and they often hide inside ordinary phrases. Easy come, easy go. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to struggle to survive. These sayings sound harmless, but each one is a binding agreement with poverty, each one a declaration of a world where abundance is foreign, where wealth is rare, where life is hard. And when you repeat them, you give them power, you confirm them as law in your reality. But wealth has its own language. Wealth declares differently. Wealth says, "Money flows to me with ease. Opportunities seek me out. I always have more than enough." These words are contracts with abundance. They sign your name to a reality where money is not an enemy, but an ally, where supply is not scarce but infinite, where provision comes from countless channels. The difference between lack, words, and wealth. Words is not in their poetry but in their energy. Lack words are born from fear. They vibrate with the frequency of not enough. Wealth words are born from knowing. They vibrate with the frequency of overflow. When you speak them, you shift the atmosphere around you. You shift your inner being, aligning your emotions, your beliefs, your actions with the truth of abundance. Words are not decorations, they are commands. And every time you repeat a command, you strengthen its hold in your life. Consider the power of contracts in the physical world. A contract signed in ink can bind you to years of debt, or guarantee you years of wealth. Now realize that your words are signatures of the spirit. They bind you more deeply than paper ever could. Every morning when you wake and speak, you are signing agreements for that day. The question is, what kind of contracts are you signing? Are you binding yourself to scarcity with words of complaint, or binding yourself to abundance with words of power? It is not enough to want abundance while still speaking lack. The mouth cannot betray the heart. If you truly desire wealth, your words must align with it. You must train your tongue to speak only in abundance, even when the evidence has not yet appeared, because the contract of wealth is signed in faith before it manifests in sight. You say, "I am rich," not because your bank account already shows it, but because your identity demands it. And when identity and words align, the universe must respond. Every great shift begins with a new agreement, and new agreements begin with new language. Listen to your own voice. Observe the phrases you use daily. Do they honor abundance, or do they betray you to scarcity? The shift begins when you catch yourself mid-sentence, replacing words of lack with words of wealth. When you stop saying, "I can't," and start declaring, "I will." When you stop repeating, "It's impossible," and start affirming, "Everything is possible for me." These are not just affirmations to soothe your mind. They are legal declarations in the court of creation. They carry authority. They summon new circumstances. Lack contracts hold you down, but wealth contracts lift you up. Lack contracts attract more lack. Wealth contracts magnetize more wealth. The moment you recognize the weight of your words, you become the author of your abundance. The moment you refuse to sign scarcity agreements with your tongue, you free yourself from the cycle of struggle. And as you begin to speak with authority, your words will not only shape your reality, but will call forth opportunities, resources, and miracles from directions you never considered. One sentence, spoken with authority, unlocks the vault of supply. For the treasure house of the universe is not locked by iron, not sealed by stone, but guarded by vibration. The vault is not hidden in some faraway place. It surrounds you, it is within you, overflowing, waiting. Yet its doors will not respond to begging hands or fearful whispers. It only opens when it hears the sound of certainty, the tone of command, the resonance of one who knows. A single sentence can pierce the invisible barrier and summon what belongs to you. That sentence does not work because of clever wording, but because of the power with which it is spoken. Consider the way a master key works. It does not break down the door with force. It does not plead with the lock to open. It simply fits because it was designed to fit. In the same way, the right words, spoken from the right identity, slip into the mechanism of the universe and turn with ease. Suddenly, what seemed impossible becomes accessible. Suddenly, what was hidden is revealed. The vault of supply is not stingy, it is waiting for recognition. It waits for the moment you finally speak as one who deserves to receive. When you speak without authority, your words scatter like dust. But when you speak with identity, they strike like thunder. The universe bends to that vibration because it carries the imprint of divine law. Think of the difference between a whisper of doubt and a command of faith. One collapses before it reaches the air, the other resounds, echoing across realms, drawing all things into alignment. The sentence that unlocks the vault is not magical in itself. Its power comes from your certainty, your refusal to speak as a beggar, your choice to declare as a master. The vault is symbolic, yet it is also real. It is the infinite supply of wealth, opportunities, connections, ideas, and resources waiting for you. Many imagine that money must come from a single channel, from a job, from a business, from one stream. But the vault contains rivers without number. When you open it, wealth flows from unexpected places. A sentence spoken in authority does not just release one blessing. It releases a cascade, a flood, an overflow that reorders your entire reality. Authority is not loudness. Authority is not arrogance. Authority is knowing. A whisper spoken from certainty can shake mountains, while a shout born of fear will crumble into silence. The one sentence that unlocks the vault must be spoken with a steady heart. You do not say it hoping it might work. You say it knowing it cannot fail. That is the essence of command. Imagine yourself standing before a massive vault door, towering above you, heavy and impenetrable. For years, you may have pressed your hands against it, hoping it would budge. You may have wept at its silence, doubting if it would ever open. But now you understand, it was never locked against you. It was waiting for you to remember the key. That key is one sentence, one declaration infused with belief. The moment you speak it, the door does not resist. It swings open effortlessly, because it was always yours to open. People spend years chasing techniques, rituals, endless methods to attract wealth. They chase like wanderers in a desert, believing water is scarce, but the truth is simpler. Words shape worlds. A single sentence, spoken with conviction, carries more power than years of striving, because creation itself was born through words. Let there be was the sound that birthed light, and in the same way, your let there be summons wealth. The vault responds not to effort, but to decree. Every great shift in life has been triggered by a single declaration. Think of moments in history, of leaders who stood and spoke words that changed the course of nations. Their power was not in eloquence, but in authority. Their words carried the energy of inevitability. In your own life, the same principle applies. One sentence spoken with the fire of belief can shift the axis of your reality. You must feel the words before you speak them. They must burn within your chest like truth already known. When you declare them, the vibration ripples outward, calling money, opportunities, and resources into formation. Invisible hands move on your behalf, unseen doors swing open, new paths appear where none existed. It begins with that one command, that one moment of absolute alignment between your words and your identity. The vault of supply does not open for the one who doubts. It does not open for the one who hesitates. It opens for the one who speaks in oneness with truth. That is why one sentence, infused with authority, carries more weight than 1,000 empty affirmations. Authority is not repetition, it is realization. And when realization flows into speech, the vault must obey. This is why so many struggle without results. They recite words without authority, affirmations without alignment. They knock at the door, but do not carry the vibration of ownership. But when you claim your inheritance with certainty, when you stand in identity and speak the sentence that resonates with abundance itself, the vault no longer delays. It yields, it opens, it pours forth without resistance. That is the mystery and the promise. That the vault is not locked by force, but by forgetfulness. The moment you remember your authority and declare it, the door recognizes you. It swings wide, and all that you have been seeking flows forth, as though it had been waiting just behind that door all along. The universe does not respond to begging, it responds to commanding. When you beg, you place yourself beneath the very thing you are asking for. You speak as though you are powerless, as though wealth and opportunity must be convinced to notice you. But the universe does not respond to the language of desperation, for desperation carries the vibration of lack. It hears your plea, not as a request for abundance, but as a declaration that you do not already have. And the universe, always faithful to mirror your state, gives you more of what you declare. If you beg from emptiness, you create more emptiness. If you plead from fear, you call forth more fear. But when you command, you speak as one who knows, as one who is aligned with the law of abundance, and the universe cannot resist that vibration. Command is not arrogance. Command is recognition. It is the knowing that you are not separate from the infinite supply. To command is to stand in your true identity, the identity that has been buried under years of conditioning and fear. The identity of one who was never meant to struggle or scrape by, but one who was meant to reign. Not reign over others, but reign over circumstances. To command is to speak as the Creator speaks, to declare and to watch creation align itself with your decree. Look at nature. The seed does not beg the soil to nourish it. The bird does not beg the sky to hold it. The river does not beg the earth for a path to flow. They move in authority, in certainty, in the knowing that their place in the universe is secured. Begging is foreign to creation. Only humans, forgetting their power, fall into the posture of pleading. But when you remember who you are, begging feels unnatural. Command becomes your native tongue. Consider a child who knows their parent loves them. The child does not beg for food, trembling that they may not be fed. The child expects provision, knowing it is already theirs. In the same way, when you know that the universe is your source, you stop begging. You stop pleading with words like, "Please let this happen, please give me just enough." Instead, you rise and declare, "I receive what is mine. I open myself fully to the flow. I call wealth into my hands now." That shift from begging to commanding is the key that turns the lock. Begging weakens the spirit, but commanding strengthens it. Begging focuses on what is missing, while commanding focuses on what is present and inevitable. When you beg, you reinforce distance between you and your desire. When you command, you collapse that distance and pull it into the now. The universe does not interpret words, it interprets vibration. And the vibration of command is one of certainty, authority, inevitability. That vibration makes money, opportunities, and favor rush to you as though compelled by law. This is why some prayers go unanswered. They are not prayers of faith, but prayers of fear disguised as devotion. They are desperate pleas that say, "I do not yet believe I am worthy, but maybe if I cry long enough, something will change." But the universe responds not to the volume of your plea, but to the authority of your declaration. One sentence spoken in command has more power than 1,000 pleas whispered in desperation. To command does not mean to shout. It does not mean to force. It means to know. A single word spoken with calm certainty carries more weight than endless speeches spoken with trembling doubt. The universe leans toward authority because authority mirrors divine law. When you declare, "I am wealthy. Money comes to me now. My supply is endless," the universe does not question you. It obeys because you spoke from alignment, not from fear. Command is a posture of the soul. It is standing upright in spirit, refusing to bow to illusions of scarcity. It is looking at your reality, no matter how empty it may appear, and refusing to accept it as final. It is calling forth a higher truth, and insisting upon it with your words. When you command, you do not deny reality, you override it. You summon a greater reality to take its place. The beggar says, "I hope someday things might change." The commander says, "Things change now." The beggar looks outward for someone to save them. The commander looks inward and upward, knowing salvation flows from the authority already given to them. The beggar is tossed about by circumstance, but the commander bends circumstance to their will through the force of decree. The shift from begging to commanding is subtle, yet it transforms everything. It changes the way you pray, the way you affirm, the way you speak about money and life itself. You stop waiting for permission to prosper. You stop hoping luck will favor you. You begin to speak as if the blessing is already yours. And because the universe mirrors your knowing, the blessing appears. This is why commanding is not only spiritual but practical. It sharpens your focus, fuels your action, and draws to you the very people and opportunities aligned with your decree. When you beg, your energy is scattered, fragile, uncertain. When you command, your energy is directed, magnetic, undeniable. One posture repels, the other attracts. One delays, the other accelerates. To live as a commander is to live in union with the truth of who you are. It is to remember that you are not a beggar on the doorstep of life, but the heir to infinite supply. You are not at the mercy of chance, but the author of your experience. The universe does not respond to begging. It responds to commanding, because command is the vibration of one who has awakened to their rightful place in creation. Wealth is energy, and energy is obedient to the one who knows their power. Everything you see in the physical world, money, possessions, opportunities, even the very air you breathe, is energy condensed into form. Energy is not solid, not fixed, not scarce. It moves, it shifts, it flows like a river, taking shape according to the container it is given. Wealth is simply energy wearing the mask of currency, the robe of resources, the form of material comfort. When you understand this, you no longer see money as something external, but as energy waiting to respond to the vibration you emit. It is not money that controls you. It is your energy that calls money forth. Energy does not argue. It does not resist. It obeys. It is impartial, like clay in the potter's hands, like water flowing into the channel prepared for it. And the channel is always your consciousness. If you believe yourself unworthy, energy molds itself into scarcity. If you believe yourself destined for overflow, energy molds itself into wealth. Energy listens not to the words you speak with your lips alone, but to the deeper current of belief flowing within you. This is why some affirm wealth for years without seeing change. They have not shifted the energy of their belief. Their words are seeds, but their soil is poisoned with doubt. The soil must match the seed, for energy obeys the alignment of both. When you step into the knowing of your power, the energy around you bends. You no longer chase money, because you understand it is energy, and energy is magnetic. You align yourself with abundance, and suddenly circumstances shift. Unexpected opportunities appear. Debts dissolve, checks arrive. Ideas flow that turn into streams of income. This is not coincidence. It is energy obeying its master. Just as a compass needle turns toward the magnetic north, wealth energy turns toward the one who knows their power. Think of electricity. It waits in silence until a command is given. Flip a switch, and the room floods with light. Not because the electricity had to be begged, but because it obeys the command of alignment. Wealth is the same. It is waiting, ready, limitless. The switch is not effort, not struggle, not fear, it is authority. When you say with certainty, "I am wealthy, money flows to me," you flip the switch. The energy that was dormant rushes into form, and wealth appears in ways you could not predict. Energy is creative. It multiplies according to attention. Focus on lack, and energy multiplies lack. Focus on wealth, and energy multiplies wealth. This is why fear of losing money often causes money to vanish faster, while gratitude for what you already have multiplies it. Energy is obedient, but it is not neutral. It takes the shape of the vibration you offer. You are never without wealth, for energy is infinite. But you can shape it into poverty or abundance depending on what you command. When you see wealth as energy, you break free from the illusion of scarcity. You no longer panic when one channel closes, because energy is not bound to one stream. It can take 1,000 forms, 1,000 paths. If a job ends, if a client disappears, if one door shuts, energy simply redirects itself. The source is infinite, and the channels are endless. Scarcity comes from believing the channel is the source. Abundance comes from remembering that energy is the source, and it always obeys the vibration of power. Wealth energy responds to clarity. If you are scattered, indecisive, uncertain, the energy mirrors that state, producing results that are unstable, inconsistent, fleeting. But when you stand firm in identity, when you decide, when you speak with unwavering authority, energy locks into that frequency and multiplies it. This is why the masters of wealth seem to attract opportunities effortlessly. It is not effort that moves energy, it is certainty. Certainty is magnetic, doubt repels. You must learn to treat wealth as a servant, not a master. Servants obey commands. Masters give them. The moment you bow before money, fearing it, worshipping it, chasing it, you place yourself below the energy that was designed to serve you. But when you recognize your position as the one who shapes energy with thought, belief, and word, you regain dominion. You stop asking, "How will money come?" and begin declaring, "Money comes." You stop worrying about channels and start focusing on vibration. And as your vibration aligns with wealth, energy rushes to manifest it. This is the unseen science of abundance. Wealth is not about numbers. It is about energy. Numbers are the shadow, energy is the substance. Focus on the shadow, and you will always feel empty. Focus on the substance, and the shadow will multiply. When you shift your energy, the numbers adjust automatically. Energy is first cause, money is the effect. Those who chase the effect never find peace, but those who master the cause walk in endless supply. Wealth energy does not delay, it responds instantly, though the manifestation may unfold through time. The moment you shift, the energy obeys. The universe begins rearranging itself, moving people, opportunities, and events into place to deliver what you have commanded. You may not see the shift immediately, but the energy has already bent toward you. The results are inevitable because energy is loyal. It cannot betray the command of authority. When you understand this, you stop fearing money. You stop doubting your ability to attract it. You stop questioning whether you deserve it. You realize that wealth is not about deserving. It is about commanding energy through the recognition of your power. Energy does not judge your worth, it mirrors your vibration. If you stand in weakness, it reflects weakness. If you stand in strength, it reflects strength. Wealth is energy, and energy is obedient to the one who knows their power. The right declaration can shift time itself, pulling money within 24 hours. Time is not as rigid as you have been taught to believe. It bends, it stretches, it compresses according to vibration. To most, money appears to move slowly, earned dollar by dollar, gathered paycheck by paycheck, crawling toward them through long years of labor. But this slowness is not the nature of money. It is the result of belief. The pace of wealth is dictated by the rhythm of your declaration. When you speak as one waiting, time drags its feet. When you speak as one commanding, time leaps forward, compressing months into days, days into hours, hours into moments. The right declaration carries the vibration that accelerates manifestation. It is not about asking, not about hoping, but about aligning with a frequency that collapses delay. Consider how the universe was spoken into being. Light did not take centuries to arrive when the Creator declared, "Let there be light." The moment the word was spoken, creation obeyed. This is the same law that governs your finances. When you declare with true authority, what you call forth begins moving instantly. Time bends around the vibration of certainty. A declaration spoken in weakness will take the long path, dragging itself through countless obstacles. A declaration spoken in authority cuts through time like lightning, pulling the future into the present. This is why one sentence, aligned with power, can manifest wealth in 24 hours or less. The right declaration is not empty affirmation repeated mindlessly. It is not words tossed into the wind, hoping something will stick. It is a command infused with identity, spoken as though the thing already exists, spoken from the seat of authority, not from the pit of need. When you declare, "I receive money now. I am the magnet of abundance. Wealth enters my life this very day," you are not wishing. You are bending the structure of time. You are pulling unseen supply into visible form with urgency. The words ignite a vibration that ripples outward, touching circumstances, stirring people, moving resources, and clearing paths you never saw before. Time is obedient to certainty. If you believe wealth must take years, time will stretch to fulfill that belief. If you declare that wealth comes swiftly, time compresses, and the universe aligns to make it true. It is not the external clock that controls you. It is the inner vibration you carry. The clock is an illusion. The declaration is reality. And when your declaration matches the vibration of abundance, time obeys without resistance. Think of how often you have experienced moments where time seemed to bend. You said you didn't have enough, and suddenly hours disappeared. Or you said something must happen today, and somehow everything rearranged itself for it to occur. This is the same principle at work with money. When you declare wealth with urgency and certainty, it arrives with urgency and certainty. The declaration rewrites the timeline, cutting away the unnecessary detours and calling the result into being swiftly. Some will say, "But how can money appear in 24 hours?" They do not understand that money is energy, and energy responds faster than matter. Energy does not require time. It requires command. Once the command is given, energy begins to flow, and matter rearranges itself accordingly. You may receive an unexpected payment, a forgotten debt returned, a sudden sale, a gift, or a new opportunity that opens instantly. The form does not matter. The speed is the law responding to your declaration. But the declaration must be right. It must be spoken not from the mouth alone, but from the depths of identity. A fearful heart cannot bend time, for fear believes in delay. A doubtful mind cannot compress hours, for doubt clings to waiting. But one who knows, one who feels the truth in their bones, one who speaks as though the vault is already open, this one shifts the timeline. For them, the 24-hour window is not miraculous, it is natural. It is the echo of authority vibrating through time itself. The right declaration does not only alter the future, it pulls it into the present. It overrides the illusion of someday and anchors wealth in the now. Each syllable carries a frequency that accelerates manifestation. The declaration does not beg, it commands. It does not wonder, it insists. It does not wait, it receives. That is why it has power over time. because time responds only to those who stand in authority. Imagine holding a rope attached to your future abundance. Most people tug weakly, waiting for the rope to inch closer. But when you declare with authority, you pull the rope sharply, and the future snaps into the present. What seemed distant collapses into now. This is the law of acceleration. The declaration is the hand pulling, the energy is the rope, and time is the distance collapsing under the weight of certainty. The words you speak are not bound to the linear path of clocks and calendars. They travel directly to the field of possibility. They strike like lightning into the fabric of reality. And they return with what you commanded. Delay is only the shadow cast by doubt. But when doubt is gone and declaration is pure, time bends instantly. That is why the right declaration can bring money within 24 hours. It is not a trick, not a chance, but a law responding to authority.